This is not my story, but it happened to my friend in the summer of 2010. My friend, we will call her Emily, was running in a park about a mile from her house. Now, during the day, this park is the safest place in the world, located next to a fairly busy street with houses surrounding it. And with the tennis court and baseball field, this park was filled with people. Since Emily had work that day, she decided to run around dusk when the park was fairly empty. Although this park is literally located in a neighborhood, it is downright creepy around this time, and cops can usually be seen patrolling the area looking for drug dealers or horny teens. The trail she was running on is kind of hidden in the surrounding patch of forest and dips behind this a little hill to where the baseball field is located. As she was approaching the baseball field, she noticed a man sitting on a bench. Figuring it was just someone taking a break from a walk or something, she didn't really think of anything of it. But as she approached him, it's when things got weird. The guy was sitting there wearing a clown mask. She said it looked like Pennywise from It. This obviously struck her as creepy, so she sped up from a jog to a run. A quick look over her shoulder, and she saw the guy had stood up and was starting to run after her. This obviously freaked the fuck out of Emily, so she just dead on sprinted back to her house. As Emily approached her driveway into the as Emily approached her house, her other friend Stacy had just pulled into the driveway. Emily screamed at Stacy to run into the house and call the cops. By this time, the clown creeper had lost interest and was nowhere to be seen. The cops came, looked for the guy, and a report was filled. Nothing ever came from it. Emily was obviously scared out of her mind and refused to walk alone at night and flat out avoided the park for a couple of years. Now, among our friends group, we had kind of general consensus on what it was that chased Emily. We all figured it was this kid we knew from high school who lived less than a block away from the park. We will call him Jim. Now, Jim was always kind of strange, was really into insane and clown pose, and was just a generally creepy, a bit harmless individual. He could have been just reflecting upon the vast, majestic, sonically sexual music that is ICP, and wearing the mask was his getaway, but most likely his intentions were a little more sinister. On a side note, a couple weeks later, I was driving home from a friend's house. The way I took home past Jim's house, there's also a stop sign that causes you to literally stop in front of his house. The windows were down because it was a hot night, and I slowly creeped to a stop at the stop sign. As I stopped, I looked out to the passenger side window towards Jim's house, and lo and behold, sitting no farther than 5 feet away from my car is Jim, looking fucked up. I mean, strung out hard on something. He looked up to me with his hazy, lost look on his face, and his mouth broke into this really strange grin. Needless to say, I hauled ass home and didn't sleep too well that night. Haven't seen or heard much about Jim since then, although I'm pretty sure he still lives in the same house. It started in a haunted cave on Halloween, just me and my friend Anna. Me and Anna are total opposites. She is blonde, outgoing, and completely fearless. I'm dark-haired, introverted, a people-pleaser. That's actually how I ended up at this cave. People-pleasing. Anyways, we go through the cave and it was pretty awesome. The usual people with chainsaws, screamers, clowns. One clown kept following us though. He wasn't like the other clowns who wore face painted with fake blood splattered on them. He didn't have a big red nose and clown clothes. He had on regular, if not tattered jeans, a stained, sweaty white tee, and a clown mask. This mask was pretty detailed. It had the eyes cut out and a wrinkled, jagged tooth mouth with blood smeared around it. It was seriously creepy. He follows us all the way through the house as we giggle and run into the fog room at the end. Once we make it outside, we go to get cocoa and watch the local bands play. While in line, the clown walks up and stands inches away from me, breathing in and out so hard his mask sticks to his face and releases with each breath. Okay, creepy but normal for this place. He walks away, we giggle, but he stays close, starting. We walk over to the band and he stands right behind me. He starts tugging on my hair. I ignored it, but he tugs harder. Suddenly he pulls so hard my neck whips back. Anna starts yelling at him, and he lets go and walks away, but like before, not too far. She wanted to tell someone, but I didn't. We were at a haunted cave, he probably didn't mean to. But she said, no, they can't touch you, and we walked over to the ticket booth to complain. It went like this. This is what Anna said. Ma'am, her clown over there pulled my friend's hair so hard it almost ripped out. This is the ticket lady talking. I don't see any of our clowns. They are all in the cave. None of our people walk around out here. They are behind that rope, which was the rope behind us, because some families with small kids come out. They ride in bands. This is Anna talking. That clown right there did it, and how do you not see him? This is the ticket lady. Calm down, miss. This is not one of your clowns. Are you sure he isn't a friend of yours? This is me talking. Thank you, we are sorry. So I just went to leave. The clowns are still staring. I'm missing hair. This isn't fun. Fearless Anna decides to confront the clown. She marches right up with me behind her and demands he takes off his mask. He doesn't speak. He looks at me. He reaches out his hand to me, and I refuse to touch him. He pushed Anna from in front of me and stepped 2 inches from my face, and I screamed the most terrifying, psychotic scream I've ever heard. Everyone turned to look. The band stopped playing. Anna grabbed me by the arm and pulled. He stared at me frozen. Then Anna grabbed my face and slapped me, and we ran. I looked behind, and he was standing at me and staring. Everyone went back to what they were doing, like nothing ever happened. We got to the car and peeled out. Anna kept saying, we need the police, we need the police. I told her it wasn't that big of a deal, and it was a weirdo at a haunted cave, no hard feelings for the slap. I was scared too, etc. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. He had a knife. That's why she slapped me and pulled me away, not from the fear of being screamed at. She saw the knife in his hands. We contacted the police, but they didn't take us seriously. I'm now afraid to go to haunted attractions, but not because they are scary, but you really never know if someone works there, or if they are there because they fit in so well. So creepy guy or clown guy in the cave, let's not meet ever again.